Virginia Woolf was in many ways a pioneer of feminist literary criticism, raising issues such as the social and economic context of women's writing, the gendered nature of language, the need to go back through literary history and establish a female literary tradition, and the societal construction of gender that remain of central importance to feminist studies. Woolf's most significant statements on feminism are contained in two lectures presented at women's colleges at Cambridge University in 1928. Subsequently, they were published as A Room of One's Own in 1929 and in Three Guineas 1938. She also belonged to Bloomsbury Group, which included John Maynard Keynes, Lytton Strachey, Clive Bell, and the writer Leonard Woolf, whom Virginia was to marry in 1912. Woolf's literary criticism, like her fiction, can be approached from at least two perspectives, those of modernism and feminism. Woolf reacted against the primacy accorded by the Enlightenment to the faculty of human reason, as well as the assumption that reason could master the world and reduce it to total intelligibility. She expresses what has come to be seen as a characteristically feminist distrust of theorizing, which is seen as imbued with centuries of male values and strategies. Like most modernists, Woolf questioned the idea of an external reality that somehow existed independently of our minds. She observes how the creative power at once brings the whole universe to order, and she also views reality as a construct. The room of the book's title is a skillfully used metaphor around which the entire text is woven. Woolf's central claim is that a woman must have money and a room of her own if she is to write fiction. Women need financial and psychological independence in order to exercise their creative potential. Woolf's claim situates literature within a material, economic, social, political context. She compares fiction, for example, to a spider's web. This web is not spun in mid-air. That is, literature does not arise in a vacuum, but is attached to life at all four corners. Literature cannot be produced without economic independence. It is this economic poverty that has underlain the intellectual impoverishment of women. Therefore, intellectual freedom, the power to think for oneself, rests on financial freedom. The metaphor of one's own room, as embodying the ability to think independently, takes another level of significance from its resistance to the appropriation of language, history, and tradition by men. Most of the books on women have been written by men, defining women so as to protect men's image of their own superiority. She observes a deep ambivalence and irony in male attitude towards women. Women have burned like beacons in all the works of all the poets. In literature, women has been treated as full of character and importance. In reality, she was locked up, beaten, flung about the room. An important task for women as they look back through history is to seek out the hitherto neglected and blurred outlines of a female literary tradition. Poetry affirms ought to have a mother as well as a father. What is implied here is the need to establish a tradition of women's writing which closely relates to the male tradition and has its own emblems of distinctness in terms of both content and style. In this broader sense, the room might encompass a female tradition and female perspectives toward history. A room of one's own might also represent the possibility or ideal of writing in a female language, or at least appropriating language for female use. Woolf holds that women should not write in the same way as men do. The male language women inherited could not express their female experience. This language, habituated to showing women exclusively in their relationship to men, could not express, for example, the liking of one woman for another. She notes how woman has been at the center of some different order and system of life, contrasting sharply with the world inhabited by men. Women must craft not only a sentence, a language that will grasp the rhythms of their own experience, but also a literary form that is adapted to the body. The language and thought are ultimately and irreversibly grounded in the rhythms of the body, of one's particular situation in place and time, is one that has been richly pursued by a variety of feminisms. The mental state that Woolf sees as most creative is what she calls unity of the mind. She urges such androgyny on the grounds that the greatest human happiness results from the natural cooperation of sexes. In each of us, two powers reside, one male, one female, and in the man's brain, the man predominates over the woman, and in the woman's brain, the woman predominates over the man. The normal and comfortable state of being is that when the two live in harmony together, spiritually cooperating.